Hello there, everybody. WhatCulture Wrestling's Adam Clery. Before I start, a quick thank you to everybody who joined myself, Jules, and Phil for our NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff live stream, where we had many fun times and we ate many Walker's Poppables. They are light as air. Now, if you did join us for that stream, you will know precisely what was up, what went down, but we're not doing what went down for this one. We want a more considered approach, so I'm doing NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff ups and downs for that show. Yes, that's right, Simon Miller's show, but I do it sometimes. It's a developmental brand based in the UK, and I am a very developmental man based in the UK, so it does kind of work. Light as air, genuinely light as air. So before I start, a couple of little pieces of groundwork setting. NXT UK has been, I don't want to say much maligned, but it's not quite been the explosion and celebration of the British scene that I think everybody thought it was going to be. WWE committing to a weekly show on the network to showcase British talent was the dream for everybody who worked in the scene. Promoters, wrestlers, fans, that's what everybody wanted. They wanted the biggest company in the world, the biggest show in town, to take this seriously, give it the platform it deserved, but it's just... The show is good. The show is good. It just gets so regularly outwatched, even in this country, by random network specials. It's just... I can't quite put my finger on what's wrong with it. Like, the show is good, the matches are good, the storylines are good, the wrestlers are good, the performance is good, the angles are good, everything about it is good. It's just not been enough to really grab people. Like NXT, regular NXT, US NXT has this exact same problem. Loads of people watch the takeovers and tell you how great it is, but they don't watch the weekly show, and this has kind of had the same problem. It just doesn't get as regular takeovers to make everybody remember how good it is. Haha, got him. But that's the whole other story. It's not really relevant to all of this. We're here tonight to talk about the TakeOver show itself, and that's what I am going to do. No pre-show. We were doing a Q&A on the live stream, so we didn't watch that, but it was Cassius Ohno beat Sid Scala, I think, and Rhea Ripley beat Piper Niven, or to use a correct name, Viper. So this is the show. This is NXT TakeOver UK Cardiff, or whatever order they put that in, and this is ups in... How does Miller do it? Let's up those downs. I'm sitting down, so let's up those, just whatever. Okay, so before we start properly, I have to address a bit of an issue I've got with this show, which is an immediate down. And look, don't get me wrong, I am immensely positive about this show overall, as you will see as the video goes on, but I need to start with a down, and that is the scheduling of it. Basically, today is indie wrestling Christmas. We had Royal Quest earlier on today, New Japan's big show in the UK, and later on we're going to get All Out. In fact, by the time this video goes out, probably will have already had parts of All Out, I don't know. And WWE decided to counter-program NXT UK right in the middle of both, overlapping, in fact, with Royal Quest. Now, the announcement dates of these shows do kind of make it look like WWE didn't have this planned the whole time, but you know when these shows are going to happen. You know when your other competitors are looking at booking dates. You know when they're going to book venues. They knew this was going to be Royal Quest and All Out. They knew, and they still booked it against those two. Now, if you are a massive fan of indie wrestling or of alternative wrestling or just pro wrestling in general, for the majority of this show, you have the choice. New Japan Wrestling's Royal Quest in London or NXT UK's TakeOver in Cardiff. And the thing is, given everything that happened tonight with the Fight TV broadcast and the quality of the matches and sadly Kenta's injury, this was probably the best show, but loads of people who could have watched it didn't. In fact, loads of people who would have liked to watch this show were probably at Royal Quest in London in the first place, and that's just... These brands, like Evolve had the same thing competing with AEW. These brands, these wrestlers, these promotions, these everything, they're not there for sport. You can't just throw them in competing circles with other shows. Like, it's abuse. It's abuse of power, and I hate it, and it's a down. But that's fine. I can get immediately onto the ups for all this and give one straight away to Noam Dar versus Travis Banks, one of many all WCPW alumni clashes we saw tonight. There's not like a whole lot to say about this match. It was your classic TakeOver opening match where you just take Two people who haven't got a massively long build storyline and they're not competing for anything in particular, and you just give them 10-15 minutes to showcase how good they are inside the ring. And Noam Dar is fantastic. Horrendously underused in WWE. That Alicia Fox thing, my God, if I ever see that again, it will be too soon. And Travis Banks, had he not gone to WWE, would have held every major title in the UK. These two guys are fantastic performers. They've got great in-ring chemistry. The match was class. It's all we wanted to see. It's an up. And, right, okay, so next we had a little backstage segment where Cesaro was like, I don't care who my opponent is. I'm just here to be challenged, or whatever he said. We had the mix. We had the volume quite low in the mix. I don't know what he actually said. And Ilja Dragunov was like, it's me, in the backstage promo when he walked past him. We went to the ring. Now, I don't know if Miller does half downs, because I don't want to give this a proper down, because it's so tiny and pointless. It's just not really not worth giving it down to. But surely, given how popular a performer he is, and given how much people were expecting to see Cesaro's mystery opponent, do that reveal in the ring. Like, my God, people... Okay, right. You're at a wrestling show. Your first match has just finished. You've probably been for the pre-show. You maybe you went for a drink beforehand. I don't know. It's your life. You probably are waiting for the first big video package to go to the toilet or go back to the bar or check your phone or do anything. And to give away that match in a video package when you could have had Cesaro come out, huge pop, opponent comes out, huge pop. You could have done it that way. It's weird. Like, it's half a down for me. Like, it's a great choice of opponent. It was fine. It's just... do it in the ring. Oh, God. Oh, my God, the match itself, right. I don't know if Miller only gives half downs or if he does gold. No, I need to save the golden up, don't I? I need to save that for the main event. I would like to give a silver up. Sorry, Chris, I know it's late. I'd like to give a silver up to this match because Cesaro proved, well, forever, why people make a big deal about pushing him. And here's the thing, right? I did a video quite recently, and a brilliant article by Michael Sidgwick in the process, saying Cesaro should be considered a success in WWE. People shouldn't look at his career and think, oh, he should have had a main title run, he should have been at the top of the card, etc., etc. What he's achieved, given his shortcomings, let's say, from a WWE perspective. Like, I know he's fantastic, but just he can't do those certain promos at the start of the show, so they'll never put him in the main event. That's another story. It's literally another video. Ask me for the link on Twitter if you want to see it. He should be considered a success. We shouldn't get worried that he isn't going on the indie scene. But this match was just, right, it's everything we think Cesaro can do. Go be a main event attraction in promotions that he's never been in before. Go play in front of rabid, hot, drunk indie crowds in smaller venues against one-off opponents he's never even met before in his life, and go and put on great matches. That is kind of what we want for him outside of WWE. It's why we want him to go to AEW, or why he could go to New Japan, or why he could just do all the indies round and round and round and round and round. And I've always said he doesn't need to do that, but tonight, maybe he does. Look, the match itself, if I've not already said, is an up. It's a silver up. It's the second best up of the entire night. But that man is going to have one hell of a long flight home, because he's content, happy with his role in WWE, isn't he? Because he didn't know this is what it was like. Didn't know that you just turn up and wrestle some random guy in front of a crowd who were absolutely blown away to get to see Cesaro instead of a dead TV crowd on a Monday night. Now he's got a taste for all that. Oof. The next match was the three-way tag team triple threat, one fall, two men in the ring, whatever the dynamic was, between Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, James Drake and Zach Gibson, and Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews for the NXT UK Tag Team Championships. Yeah, you know the whole way. Right, so the match itself was great. They have done in that match, I think, single-handedly, some of the best false finishes I've ever seen, because obviously the hometown heroes of Andrews and Webster, everybody wanted them to win, and they got a really near fall about 2/3 of the way through, and you thought, oh, that's them teasing them winning when they're not actually going to. Then they got another one so close, and you thought, that's them teasing they're going to win and they're not actually going to. But then it went back and forth. They got another one, and Zach Gibson pulls the referee out of the ring, and you're like, oh, they've got another one, but they're not actually going to. And then they did the bit where Zach Gibson got the finisher out of nowhere. It is 1, 2, no. The three-way, then back on itself, tag team swerve, the lesser spotted way to finish one of these matches, and the crowned new tag team champions of Welsh origin in Wales. Huge up. Like, don't get me wrong, like crowning champions in their hometown is not, like, you don't automatically get an up for that. Buddy Murphy in Australia, the Iconics winning a match in Australia, it's all good. Like Nakamura winning the thing in Osaka as well, doesn't automatically get you an up because it is a cheap pop to get, but the way they did it, constantly teasing the audience, thinking, you're getting it, no, you're getting it, no, you're getting it, no, to the point where they finally thought they weren't getting it, was great. And that's the whole thing. This is another up. The crowd. Like, British crowds at any kind of sporting event have a reputation. I have been in enough of them in my life to know this is true. But genuinely tonight, that is one of the hottest, most enthused, receptive, supportive, whatever word you want to use, wrestling crowds I've ever seen. Genuinely. And they, in their own right, deserve an up. Next, what did you have? Joe Coffey versus Dave Mastiff. Neutral for me, this one, kind of, because the match itself kind of exceeded expectations. I think that whole top rope thing was a work. Speaking as a man, by the way, who literally had to play off a top rope disaster as a work when it actually wasn't, that one looked to me like a work. The fact that they left the ring for the entire rest of the match and the finish was all very deliberately outside of the ring kind of implies it was done as a bit of a thing. I mean, you would probably use it or improvise with it if it wasn't. So the match itself it over-delivered. The match over-delivered, but the finish where Joe Coffey kicks the thing out from Dave Mastiff. The whole point of a last man standing match is you're meant to render your opponent physically unable to stand up. I didn't like the Gargano Ciampa ending to the last man standing match because it didn't go against that principle, and neither did this. So if I'm going to be consistent, I'm going to have to give that match a down, because if you want to build Joe Coffey as the kind of man who can beat Dave Mastiff in a last man standing match, you didn't do it here, because he didn't physically render him unable to stand and meet a 10 count. He just tripped him up, effectively. The match was good, yes, but I just down. Do you want to pop a ball? No, I know. The light is there. Next up, we had Kaylee Ray versus Toni Storm in a match for the NXT UK Women's Championship, and I'm going to give that match a down. There you go, end of the entry. Well, it's not really, is it? Because that's incredibly short. I need to talk about it for longer than that. I need to give it more time. And yet, NXT UK did not give that match more time. It felt, and I haven't actually got the full time on it yet, but it felt like about 10 minutes, 8 minutes, maybe 12 at a push. Given how long the main event ran, this was weird. Oh, no. Every other match on this card felt like it had the room it needed to breathe. It felt like it really gave the performers the necessary showcase they wanted. So we assumed that they'd assigned Tyler Bate and Walter 30 minutes to go and do their thing, and thus they had to cut down the women's match as a result. But of course, the main event ran way in excess of that. It ran way longer. Again, I've not actually checked the time, so if it's like 29 minutes, I'm going to look a bit of a dick, but it felt like it went for near 40 minutes. So why the decision was to cut the time from the women's match and not from the main event, I do not understand. Like, don't get me wrong, I would not trade a minute of my life watching that main event back, but you've got to be fair. Like, that is your women's champion and her challenger. You can't just dick on them to give them 3/4 of an hour. And as a result, the match sucked. Like, it really did. It didn't have any coherency to it, and it didn't have any stakes, and you didn't really, like, when Kaylee Ray won, you were just like, oh, is that it? And those are two of the best women in the global scene, not even the UK scene. Kaylee Ray's probably been the best woman in the UK scene for the last 10 years or so. Toni Storm's one of the best in the entire world. Give them the time. Like, what are you doing? But that's the last down. That is the last down. I'm just gonna, this is far too casual, but you'll have to excuse me. I just want to get really comfortable for this. Tyler Bate versus Walter. Tyler Bate versus Walter. If my girlfriend ever makes me feel like Tyler Bate versus Walter made me feel, I will marry her on the spot. No, but just to be serious though, like, NXT UK has not quite arrived in the critical capacity that NXT has. Yes, we've had one or two incredible matches. By and large, the strength of the TakeOver cards has not been what we expect from the regular NXT TakeOver cards. We expect every single match to be groundbreaking or inspiring. And Toronto reminds us that that's not always the case. The main event was a bit weird, and one of the women's match was a bit weird, and it just kind of dragged in the middle, and we thought, you know what? Maybe the golden age of TakeOver cards is dead. But it's not though, is it? Because of Tyler Bate and Walter. Now, I genuinely wish that Sidgwick was sat here, or Hamlet was sat here, or Andy was here to tell you precisely, scientifically, why this match was so good, but the near falls, the finishes, the spots they did, the brutality of it, the athleticism of it. Every time Tyler Bate looked like he had nothing left, he kept physically lifting Walter up. Every time Walter looked like he'd been defeated, he kept slapping Tyler Bate back down. That is every single thing, every emotion I want to feel from a pro wrestling match. I felt disgust, I felt revulsion, I felt hope, I felt inspiration, I felt everything in that match. It was just... I'm too much in the moment to call that the greatest British pro wrestling match of all time. And to be fair, I haven't seen them all, have I? I've only been alive 32 years, so I can't possibly make that claim, but I'll tell you this much. If you ever want to have that conversation, that match is in that conversation. And given the strength of the card leading up to that, the women's match aside, sadly, this is by far and away a better takeover than Toronto was. And the main event was the jewel in this crown. And if I haven't already given away what I'm giving here, it's an up. It's the golden goddamn up. And we're going to do more videos on this, no doubt, because that has blown us away genuinely. Like me, Phil and Jules sat here, we couldn't believe how good that was. We will do way more content breaking down precisely why it was so good. But as you can see from these incredibly impressive scores, NXT TakeOver UK Cardiff, or NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff, however they're doing it, absolutely delivered. That's the best thing to come out of Wales since... Oh, I should have prepared this in advance. The best thing to come out of Wales since Gary Speed. So, shuffle back in the middle of this one. So, genuinely a great night for British professional wrestling on a night when Japan came over to the UK to showcase what it can do. And we're all probably going to sit up all night to watch the future of North American wrestling. NXT UK will take some outdoing. Like, it was way better than Raw Quest from what I'm told. Obviously, I can only watch one at a time. Only got one set of eyes, haven't I? And, don't get me wrong, All Out's probably going to outdo it. It is AEW, and it has got Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes and the Bucks in it, but genuinely, they're going to have to be on their game to beat that. And if NXT UK can genuinely challenge all the other big promotions in the world, then watch it. Watch the weekly show. The people on that card, the people on that roster really deserve your support. If you're watching this from the UK and you're British, those are your guys, man. They're your guys. We had a counter on screen for all the people who'd ever been in WCPW, and I think including Raw Quest, it's come out like 29 already tonight, and we still got all the guys on allowed to go. Like, these are the people you could have seen in small venues, you could have seen in our shows. Like, support them. Support them. That's all I can really say on this. But in the meantime, thank you for watching Ups and Downs. I do love presenting it. Let us know what you made of it in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But in the meantime, though, thank you so much for watching. I've been Adam Clery, and I can't believe I'm actually going to attempt this after such a long take. And I'll see you soon. No!